Yeah.
So
Damn. Relax, chill.
Is there not a world where SSG have the best finish in North America at the World Championship?
Oh, yes, that is a very, very possible world, and that pisses me off. Don't get me wrong.
That's exactly what I was hoping.
That pisses me off. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to what for me is another episode of Melekiym Unfiltered, a Belleair video and a Martian video. We have all decided to collab for a very interesting reason. Because we have to have a discussion about North America, okay? There's a very big problem that has surfaced, and everybody knows me for being the person that is very, like, I don't want to say unhinged, but I just kind of tell it how it is, and people don't like it sometimes because I just speak my mind. And these are the two are Martian and Belleair. They speak their mind, but they're very PR when they do it. I don't really care about my reputation right now. I'm not gonna hold you, so I'm just gonna talk. North America sucks right now, and something has to change. And here we need to discuss North America being terrible this season as Mr. Belleair, Mr. Everything. I love to call. I don't even know what I could call you. If I walk down the block and I see you and I say, "What the hell? What do you do? What do you do? What can you call yourself?"
I'm an enigma. I don't know. It's tough to put into words. I spend a lot of wakeless nights just laying in my bed trying to answer that exact question. So, yeah. I just all-star, honestly. World champion. Yeah.
All-star world champion?
Friend of
You're a world champion. Mm-hmm. Friend of the Martian. What about you?
I'd probably say I'm an engineer, but secondly, definitely more in the esports space. Honestly, like, just a fan. Like, I just love watching, and that slowly progressed into actually like trying to make content about it. Suddenly, you know, my now wife, girlfriend at the time, was being like, you know, "Oh, you got views on this predictions video." I was like, "I did? That's surprising." And so here we are. And so yeah, I talk like I know what I'm talking about. A lot of stuff I'm just making up, but truthfully, I feel like I've gotten an eye for the scene to know a little bit more than the average person. And so people, I guess, for some reason like to listen to me talk. That's cool, I guess. I'll keep talking in that case because I got plenty to say. So
yeah, I call you to the investigative journalist of the scene right here. You two, Lawler, and then all of whoever works for Shift. Yep. And then also, I can't forget my little brother Jacob over here. He's also running production. Jacob, how you feeling?
Good. Thank you for asking, Jacob.
We're doing good.
That's a great question to respond to being introduced. I love that. Let's hop into a conversation because we have a lot of stuff to cover today. First of all, at the time of this recording, a couple of hours ago, we had gotten the news from a tweet from Rocket Street that Spain wasn't going to be attending FIFA E. I have a whole lot of questions about what FIFA E and the relevance for everyone, how much people take into account when they think about FIFA E and representing your country. But big time, a federation for Spain declining the opportunity to go again to FIFA E. So what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, it just seems like for me, and Martian, I don't know if you have thoughts on Spain versus Canada. I mean, generally speaking, it feels like it's just a disconnect between like traditional sports and what esports are. I can't remember who had tweeted, but somebody said something along the lines of like, it seems like this is just old person decision making. Maybe not just in age, but in the sense of like, I just don't understand what this is, so we're just not going to do this. That's kind of my read, generally speaking, on this. But Martian, I don't know if you have posted perspective on this.
Yeah, I don't know if I posted anything. Obviously, it's a disappointment, and we kind of saw it coming a little bit with Canada, considering there was something similar last year where they didn't show up. I feel really bad for everyone who worked, you know, with the Canadian Federation to really try to get that off the ground, because like Seb posted his super long tweet talking about all the work they had done to try to like get any kind of response from their own federation, and nothing worked. It's a disappointment to see Spain out now, especially since they were in it last year. But yeah, I would probably just echo what we've seen online, what Belleair said, with like the disconnect between sports and esports. And for a game that is probably the bridge for a traditional sports viewer to get into esports, I feel like Rocket League is probably that game that you can most easily follow, most easily understand, even if you don't play the game. It's disappointing to see like some of the federations really not taking advantage of that or not seeing any kind of potential in that. So
Yeah, I don't know.
especially when oh sorry, go ahead, Mel.
I just kind of feel like it feels like a common occurrence sometimes. Like if you're a federal, like I'm thinking to myself, like if you're a federation and you're trying to like a FIFA federation, don't you want to be able to expand as much as possible, or are they just viewing it as like lost money? Like I'm curious on how they're viewing this type of I don't know, this part of the industry, I guess. I don't know. I definitely feel like it's much better, I feel like, for their rep to be able to have the esports side and represent outside of just whatever they're doing. Soccer, I don't know if they're in like some federations. I think one of them is also tied in FIBA, which is also basketball. Like my thought is, if you're gonna be in all of that too and not give Rocket League an opportunity or second opportunity in Spain's case, what is the thought process behind that? Seeing that Spain went to the quarterfinals last year, and I remember I like broke my computer over that game because they couldn't beat France, and I was like, bro, what the hell? But like that's where the excitement comes in, and like you have FIFA themselves that are running basically, or whatever, FIFA E running this tremendous tournament, and you don't want to be able to have your best national players take part. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, maybe like the juice isn't worth the squeeze for them financially. I don't really know what that piece of it looks like. The Canada one makes sense, or you can at least wrap your head around it easier because they didn't do it last year. So maybe there's just a block there where they're just not interested. I think Spain doing it and then opting to remove themselves is more concerning, because what went wrong there? Where's the disconnect? You'd also think, since this is a FIFA event, that there would be some connective tissue between like FIFA and reaching out to these federations. It's not like it's just some podunk Rocket League tournament that's happening. It is technically sanctioned by FIFA. So it is odd that you see people dropping out. But I'm not sure why they would do it. Hopefully this is it, right? Hopefully we don't see 3 more pull out and then the tournament just kind of becomes like nothing close to what we anticipated it would be, is my concern now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much of it is like even financially based. I'm not in this, I'm not behind the scenes. I know nothing about this, so this is really all speculation. But it's like, at least from my perspective, aren't they just, they have to be, the federations have to be involved in some way. But I thought that could literally just be like, yeah, we can use the brand. We can represent like a national team. Like, I don't even know if they'd be required to pour any money into it at all. Again, speculating there. But if that's the case, then like, why not? Like, why not just be like, sure, yeah, whatever. Like, you don't even have to focus on it. Like, at least from my knowledge, the Canada team was trying to take care of literally everything. There was not one stone they weren't trying to overturn, and still nothing happened. So Spain, obviously a disappointment too. I have no idea what's happening there, other than it sounds like potentially like new people making that decision, which is probably the disconnect between last year and this year. But yeah, I mean, quarterfinals team not gonna be able to make it is, it's a disappointment.
Yeah, and they were good too last year. They were pretty good in FIFA. So I don't know. That's just unfortunate. Another thing that some of the recent news that has happened was EWC. I remember I said I didn't want to do a full recap on it, but highlight some of the things that did happen. First thing was SSG's incredible appearance in EWC. Yeah, we'll go with appearance.
Appearance.
I don't know, had a weird couple of first matches. Was their first match against Vitality actually?
Yep. That was Thursday.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, yep. Mr. SSG guy, you want to take that one away?
Yeah, I'll talk. I remember I came into the group chat right after that happened. I was like, yeah, I got plenty to say. And then I hopped on a voice call with some people, and I think one of the things that I've learned just throughout life is that normally it's not always best to respond in the heat of the moment. Like, more often than not, if you take a couple hours, settle down, get your heart rate lower, get your thoughts a bit more in check, and you're not like running around super amped up, super in the heat of the moment, you're gonna be able to like come back down and be like, okay, maybe I was overreacting a little bit. We saw this a little bit just throughout the entire scene. There was a lot of outrage at the start where it's like, oh, people are calling for the org to drop them immediately. People being like, oh, they shouldn't, an embarrassment to North America. Like, everything that could have been said was said. And then like throughout the night, slowly we get to like more of, T-Bates and Fear's perspective of like, this all got overblown. But I think if we skip past them actually sitting AFK for Vitality, losing 16-2, which will be very memeable in the future, and I'm excited about that part. 48 hours later, they're being talked about as the second best North America team, and potentially doing a lot more damage at the World Championship than we would have expected 48 hours ago. So I think it's really like winning fixes all, because once they started winning, once they beat Twisted Minds, which nobody thought they would do, especially with how the Vitality series went, it's like, okay, you're back, you're legit. We can forget what happened on Thursday. Like, you're back, you're going toe to toe with Falcons at least for a few games. Like, we can ignore the sitting there as Monkey Moon dunks on your head. So
yeah, I mean, the Falcon series, I remember I was texting Reveal's dad during it, and I was telling him, like, even though it was me, Jacob, and Brazilian were in the college doing a watch party for it, and we're like, this SSG definitely has the type of play style that is beginning to lead into what the new meta is becoming right now, which Falcons is currently controlling. And the fact that they did gameplay-wise very, very close with Falcons, I feel like through that series shows that they definitely have the potential for it. And now that the meta is starting to evolve again, that shows depth, at least for the future, for them as North America's future. I guess another one I wanted to cover was my boys, Geeky, all the way to the grand final. Oh my God, what a run that was. Okay, lost in Game 5 overtime to Falcons. Don't want to talk about the circumstances of that. I'm sure Archie will at some point in time, so I'll leave that for him. Go to the lower bracket, face Furia out. We got to talk about Furia later, but Furia lose. Only scoring one goal that whole series, that one goal being 6 seconds into the series. Okay. And then Ultimates, I don't know what happened. I wake up, run to my computer, see Joyo getting the winning pass to Oli. I not even out of excitement, I hit my table foot, the table foot, and then fall back in my chair, and my chair falls to the side, and I just get crushed. So yeah, beautiful morning. Anyways, Ultimates get clowned by Geeky in that match. All right, go to the playoffs. Dignitas get killed, and I'm like, we might be on to something, because those are very quality wins and we looked high level. Not to mention Dignitas didn't look good at all in that series. And then we go to the semifinal against
Vitality.
Freaking Vitality. Goodness me. Yeah. That was a ridiculous semifinal because we had a 3-0 lead in Game 5. Somehow dropped it. Then went to a Game 7 overtime, and then Oli made me scream so loud I had my neighbors write a complaint to the management. And then finals happens and we get kind of smacked around by Carmine Corp. So very proud of my guys for that run, which hopefully puts Geeky in a more respectable conversation going into the World Championship. Making a final. Not only did it make the final, I don't like to call all these types of things like Cinderella runs or whatever, but we were the underdog team in every single one of the matches that we played that entire tournament. And we won. Everything except for Falcons and Carmine Corp. And I mean, those are the two best teams in the world. So I'm happy with them. So between you guys, Geeky's run and Casey's win, are there any thoughts about that before we get into the next thing?
I mean, I think the way I look at Geeky, I mean, you talked about them being underdogs in basically every series. there's no one size fits all for any of Rocket League. Like ultimately you have to watch the games, but I feel like the more I watch as a fan over time, I'm kind of realizing that like confidence and pressure are both incredibly important when you're playing live, and GK were the underdogs the whole time. Like they basically didn't have to do anything. They're in the group of death, like whatever. They could go 0-2 and it'd be like, what are you going to do? But when you're in this situation where you can kind of just, there are no expectations, and then you run into Dignitas, who you beat in round 5 in Birmingham and talked a lot of smack afterwards, and you're like, we're in their head, we own them.
Thank you, Nick, for that.
And then you play a Vitality team that have gotten in their own way time and time again in these big moments, and also GK have beaten them in the past as well. It's kind of the perfect storm of like, and don't get me wrong, like GK were scalding hot. Like that's a team that we've kind of seen them do something like that before. Like they're a high fluctuation team. I don't know. I don't look at this like, I've seen some people post online like GK are obviously a top 4 team at Worlds. They were awesome, and I don't want to immediately sound like a hater and be like their grand finals doesn't matter, but like the way I see it, like this is not a surprising result for GK. If they did it twice in a row, I'd be very, very shocked, because now there is pressure as a grand finals team to show up in France against a lot of very good teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of they've done, not to be like the guy who points out the obvious, but like they've clearly got something in the tank whenever it's like there's nothing on the line and there's no expectations. You know, they're gonna go 0-2 because they're in the group of death. All right, fine. You know, suddenly they're beating absolutely everyone. And as Mel mentioned, like they were the underdogs in every single match that they had. I think you can take the perspective of like, now that there's going to be pressure, they're not going to do as well. And I think I took that heading into Birmingham after they won Open 3. I was like, all right, well, now that there's like actually pressure to be good again, they're not going to be good. But then they had that run where they, you know, upset Dignitas and made that top 8. Now, granted, they, you know, we don't need to talk about what happened in the top 8. I'm sure that's plenty painful. I've got plenty of painful moments as well. But it's, even though like they've made the finals, it's like you could expect I don't know if we're going to see a similar level. It's like it does put enough respect on them to be like, okay, they could do something, you know, maybe not make the finals, but wouldn't be surprised to see them, you know, pushing for that top 8 at Worlds. They got a matchup in Ultimates that they've already shown is a team that they can beat, and a team that has their own problems in the first round in Lyon. So yeah, I was definitely impressed.
Oh, did the first rounds come out?
I think they did officially, yeah. So
wow.
Ultimates. We got some EWC rematch.
GK Ultimates in the name of, okay. So for me, I feel like I don't think anyone I don't know who's expecting GK to have the similar performance to EWC. What the hell? What are these groups?
Oh yeah, Group B is fun. Group B is fun.
That's not fair. Okay. So when was someone going to tell me that we're back for like the 30th time this season in Carmine Corp Circle? What? Are we for real? Put us against Dignitas. We're rolling them for like the 5th time this season.
Dude,
and then like
should we talk about
freaking Furia
life again? Like, I'm sorry, who in that group of Dignitas, Furia, Wildcard, which
and then Seed 1
been, I could see that going either way, and then play in Seed 1.
Like, great group for Furia.
Group of life. It's a great group.
Again, it's crazy. Like, no disrespect, because I disrespected them all of Split 1 as I watched them trounce through groups of like teams you would never expect to be making top 6s, right? It's like, you know, they made top 6, that's the absolute bare minimum. But then they see, you know, actually started making finals and beating good teams. But it's undeniable that they've gotten the luckiest group basically every single tournament of this year, with the exception of the Birmingham Swiss. That was difficult for them, in fairness.
Anyone give a damn about Birmingham Swiss? They had a chance to make the freaking top 8. They had a 2-0 lead and they dropped it. I mean, shoot. That is on them.
So
Thank you for pointing that out. Like, I'm not crazy then. Okay, so Belleair, love the fact you pointed out. Great group for Furium, because I said I needed to see something out of Furia at Rally to even count them as contenders for this major. Their confidence is shattered. They didn't make it out of Swiss at Rally. They lost 2 consecutive matches at EWC. Their confidence is in the dump. I'm not gonna hold you. So now going into Worlds, this is the perfect way for them to get confidence or momentum. They get a clean 2 series win streak, beat Dignitas on the way through, or if somebody beats Dignitas, I mean, if freaking Nip make it as the number 1 seed from the play-in, like or Shopify. Why are Shopify and Ninjas in Pajamas on this? What?
You know what? You want to know what's better? I'm pretty sure the 1 seed is most like. I think if Gen G wins out, they'll be the 1 seed.
What am I, bro? This is why I hate this format, dude. Okay. You know what? Never mind. Free wins for Fury and Dignitas all the way through. I guess. I don't know.
They're Gen G in there one more time for good measure. We got to see for sure. They'll be able to beat Dignitas.
See for sure. We're gonna see. All right, dude. If they lose to a wild card, in the name of Jesus, I would go crazy. Not another world championship loss to an OCE team, but no, Furia would need this for their confidence to get a quick 2-0 start in the world championship. Because like it's not been looking good, and hopefully if they can get it, like they'll be able to will themselves to a couple of series wins, which they definitely can do, but haven't done in like 8 months. So I don't know, dude.
I think the best thing for Furia when you look at this groups is the fact that probably the one team out of the top 12 that is the lowest on confidence, or the only team that's lower than them on confidence right now, is probably Wildcard. So they definitely got blessed in that first matchup. I'm not convinced they carry that momentum through Dignitas, even though Dig, looked shaky against Geeky. I think basically everyone looked shaky against Geeky this weekend.
Yeah.
So
damn. Relax, chill.
That was a great version of them. Yeah. Like, when's the last time we saw Archie looking that good? Oli was great too. Yeah, like outside of, but that's the Geeky thing, right? Like these small,
that is
these encapsulate these little moments, where they can really put it together.
Yep. One thing I'll add about like the Geeky run, and especially that semifinals, in my experience, it is very, very difficult to win a series as the underdog if you're blowing multiple goal lead. Like, you get a 2-goal lead in a game as the underdog, you absolutely have to
that's just been a Geeky thing, dude. That every series we blow a 2 or 3 game goal lead and then end up like almost losing the series. That's just been the whole season, dude. It's been crazy.
Yep. But I mean, even having the series in your hands, like, I don't know the percentages off the top of my head. I wish I still had. There was like a graph made several years ago at this point. There was like the percentage chance that you win with a certain amount of goal lead over time as the game progresses, and it's like they had to be at like 90% chance to win that game 5. And then for the series, it had to be even higher than 90% chance since they had a 3-1 lead as well. Blowing that, and especially with the dagger that Zen hits in game 5. And that is crazy. It's insane that they have the mental fortitude to, even still compete in game 7, much less the pressure is up into game 7 overtime. They're able to deliver. But it goes back to what Belleair was talking about, where it's like, when the expectations are nothing, it's like suddenly they're there and they're able to play. So,
is the play-in C2 going to be Ninjas in Pajamas?
No.
Are we going to see
Reynolds is coming? Reynolds is coming.
No, but if Reynolds doesn't come, pause. Are we going to see a Ninjas in Pajamas NRG first round match? What? No, I give up. I need a Gibbs explanation here. Like, now I'm gonna need to bring Gibbs on before Worlds and figure out what he was talking about with this format, because like this isn't even like real, dude. What? You have a
good
team
matchup for NRG.
You have a team in Gen G that qualifies for Worlds off of points and still have to play in to get into the main event. What are we talking about? Like, dude, come on, man. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I think honestly less egregious than the Gen G example is the way that the seeding has drifted over time. Like, now that Blast is doing this thing where it's like, take the average of your initial seed before this event and then your placement at this event. it's had this weird thing where, you know, it slowly adjusts the ranks of each region spot based on, you know, how they do. But it feels pretty egregious for this year, considering that a team like Wildcard is able to be in this top 12 despite doing darn near nothing to deserve it. They went 1-3 in the first major, 0-3 in the next major. The best the OCE has done this year is 1-3. Meanwhile, you know, Virtus took down both OCE teams in Birmingham, took down Wildcard again in Raleigh, and it's like they went 2-3, 1-3, and they're in play-ins while Wildcard is in the main event already. So honestly,
Shaking my head.
that's probably the most egregious example that we've seen here.
Yeah, right.
Can I ask you guys who did your opinion change the most on, positively or negatively, from EWC? Like who did you fluctuate on the most? You know?
Archie went up 1,000-fold. I'm not gonna lie, 10-fold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold. Archie came to play. Zen reminded me why
he was making plays.
Yeah, was it?
Like,
dude,
anytime they needed something, it was Archie.
Oh my goodness. And dude, he came on the in the match. It was against Dignitas. And I think they walked. No, Dignitas walked out first. And Archie had this crazy stare. I said, we're not losing. Oh my God, this guy, he has aura. I told him that. He's like, oh, did I actually do that? I'm like, I showed him a screenshot. I'm like, yes, you did. Yes, the hell you did. It was very, very creepy for a second, but it was aura, okay? Because it was like, he had his eyes on something. I don't know what it was, but it was something.
You know what stood out to me on the Archie point before you move on? I really liked that they were doing the little interviews walking in with CJ, and the one that Archie gave, he's like, CJ's like, how are you feeling? And he's like, well, I'm usually on 20 hours, but now I'm on 21, so I'm feeling great. And then
he's not lying,
he was like, do you think you're gonna win? And Archie's like, well, I'm a loser, so of course not. And my takeaway from that was like that Archie like kind of understands the greater perspective on him and was like there to kind of prove a point that like that's not the case. Like he can rise above that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that was a good showing for him to be like, I'm going to show out. I mean, I felt like he was the most impressive. Typically it's Joyo, right? Like I honestly felt like Joyo was the third best, which makes it sound like he was bad, but they made the grand finals. I felt like he was the third most impressive, typically what we anticipate from these players on GK. It was incredible, but I interjected on what you were saying.
No, it's totally okay. I completely forgot. Thank you.
Well, the Archie thought, but what team did your perspective change the most on?
Oh, the team. So if we're talking about, well, Marcia, you surely could go ahead of me on team perspective.
I'm trying to steer away from teams that we already talked about a decent amount, because I know we've touched on Space Station, and my opinion on them changed twice. We've talked about Geek a lot as well. I'll touch on Ultimates a little bit, because even though they were in that group of death with Falcons and GK, it's like, I don't know, man. I was hoping that Raleigh's day 2 was just a really, really, really bad day. You know, you blow that 2-goal lead against Gentlemates, and honestly, like, I don't know if they ever mentally recovered from that, and it goes so bad that they end up losing to Team Secret as well. And it's like, you're in the group of death, you trounce on Furia. And I guess my opinion on Furia has even further degraded since the Raleigh major, but it's like, you trounce on Furia, you're great. Maybe you can work some of that Birmingham magic that you did against Falcons. Nope, none of that to be seen. And then it's like, Geek, you take the game 1 off the 0-second goal, but after that, it's just like you had nothing. And I know we've talked about Geek under pressure, or Geek with no pressure is like one of the best teams in the world, but I'm still left disappointed, you know? Like, I still wanted to see more, and I don't know where this team goes from here.
No, that's a very fair statement. I mean, thank you for touching on Ultimates, because if you didn't, I was gonna rip through that. You are the more PR person to have taken the NA team. I think for me, I'm kind of picking between Vitality or NRG. For Vitality, it showed me that they still kind of got it. And then they went to a game 7, 0-second play with the team that coming into the tournament was considered the best team in the world. So I'm like, okay, they went from, in my head, like not having a chance to win the world championship in my head to now like, as long as they don't face like, I don't know.
As long as they don't have to
They
play in a
crumble
series
in the
series.
weirdest spots. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, dude. Like, I definitely will now include them as a serious contender for the world championship, given that they're the one that they had at EWC. Obviously, excluding the GK loss because we're GK. Zen showed he still got it, and that little talk he had with Exotic right after the GK or after the Falcon series. Somebody replacing somebody. That's what or not Exotic with Casio. Somebody replacing somebody somewhere. That's all I know. But Vitality are a serious contender. NRG. NRG.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Sorry, give me a second.
NRG cut his mic.
Yeah, they couldn't handle the truth.
Yeah.
It's probably better that I didn't start the set. That gave me a second to think about what I wanted to say in a nice manner.
Normally it's best.
I'm chill with Sathu. I'm chill with Sathu. I'm chill with Beast Mode. I don't really talk to the other two. NRG, sweetheart. We can't be doing the same thing over and over and over and over again because it gets repetitive and it gets tiring. NRG is NA's only competitive international team right now.
Yeah.
Over the past 2 international events, they have been NA's own. Basically.
Yeah.
Screw Ultimates. I mean, shoot.
I guess still.
Just A finals over. I don't know. It was a Mickey win. I don't know. That's my to get there. Whatever.
Excluding one event from Ultimates over the past 2 years.
Yeah, excluding one event. You need. And I feel like they're playing like it too. Every event, it feels like a struggle for NRG being NA's only seed going into the freaking playoffs, because that's what it feels like every international event. And it's like, okay, everyone, Alpha Kept streams, As Furious streams, everyone's together, hands on their head. Can they do it? Can they finally win? Oh, we lost to No, they didn't lose to Carmine Corp. What the hell am I talking about? Oh, we lost to Monkey Moon. Oh, look at that. Oh, we lost to Monkey Moon again. You know what? Let's just get Monkey Moon kicked or something. I don't know, dude. Like, this is ridiculous. No, something's got to change. They keep talking about preparing for this and preparing for that. Worlds is an ultimate test. I think if they don't do good at the World Championship, that team splits. I don't know who they bring on for who, but that team has to split. Something needs to change, dude. Like, Atomic's been to how many finals? Like, come on, bro. Like 5, 6? Like, it's ridiculous. International finals.
International finals.
I think it's been 5.
LA the first time, Worlds, and then he had 5. He had 3 last year, so it's a total of 5. He's won 2 of them, lost 2 at Worlds, and then lost Copenhagen as well. But yeah, I'm not normally one to like call for a specific player's head, especially because I certainly have no like claim to know what's actually going on the pitch. I am not a high enough rank to like really get into it and like judge a player exactly what he's doing. I can see if someone makes a flashy play, don't get me wrong, but it's like all the intricacies that make what a, pro player that deserves to stay on a team is. Like, I don't know all that stuff. And like, there's the overstated moniker of like, 90% of roster moves are off the pitch stuff, which I don't know how much of that I believe entirely, because like you can always more often you can predict who the change is more than 90% of the time. But I'm not one to like specifically call for like a certain person's head, but that being said, like I think it's win or bust for NRG at Worlds. Like if they don't win it all, like you have to change something up just to get a new dynamic, just to get like a new opinion in the room, just so like it can just bring a fresh new energy and revitalize this team, because they should be doing better than what they're doing. And honestly, like, I'm sure they're tired of the played it close awards where, oh, we went game 5 overtime with the eventual winners at EWC. Oh, we played Falcons the closest at Raleigh. Oh, we played Carmine the closest at Birmingham. It's like, that cannot be enough. That is not the standard that they are holding themselves to. So
they seem like they're kind of slow starters, not only for events, but also within series where they kind of are slow out of the gates. It feels like there's kind of like a malaise over this team where it's like Mel, you talked about how they always talk about like getting prepared and like this is the one, and then it always kind of looks like a similar version of itself. I don't really know how you fix that. With that being said, like the answer to my question would have been NRG, but I thought about it more today. I don't know. I mean, the loss to Foot is not great. Foot's kind of a weird team. I think if you look at
Foot's an EU bubble team.
They lost to Carmine Core and they lost to Vitality, and they're the only team that's made top 4 in both of the majors this season. So I was drawing a pretty firm line between like KC, Falcons, Vitality, Atta Space, NRG. It's in that order, but I don't really know. Like, there's certainly a world where NRG can show up for this one. There's definitely going to have to be somebody who impresses more than we've seen so far, though. It doesn't really feel like any of those players I've left being like, man, what a great performance from X. It's NRG just kind of getting there. I haven't been like, man, Atomic was on fire on Saturday. Like, that's what got him over the hump. It's kind of just like they're kind of just getting there,
I feel like we wouldn't even be having this urgent of a conversation if there was more than just one competitive North American team at LAN, because now all of the expectation falls onto NRG because they're the only ones that can do something for the entire North American region.
Do you really feel that way? You feel like NRG is the only one?
I do. I do feel that way. And I mean, aside from what Ultimates had, like after that, they haven't had any competitive international. Didn't they go out in Swiss last in Raleigh? Or am I tweaking?
They lost to Gentlemen and Falcons.
To Secret? Chalk it up.
But that was a great event from Secret.
It was a great event.
That was a great event. No, okay, yes, that's a great event for Secret.
That's also not the standard.
Congratulations for them.
The grand finals.
Yeah.
Dude, listen, exactly. You shouldn't be losing in Swiss. You should. Who upholds in the net? I gotta chill out. I'm too energetic for 7 p.m. 8 p.m. This is what I'm thinking. Right? They lost to GK and Falcons, right? They got killed by Falcons.
Yeah, they got group of death, which is like fair.
They got group of death.
They still expected more.
Lost to GK. It wasn't in a great fashion either that they lost to GK. No. They lost to Secret. Did it go to 5?
It did.
Okay, I was about to tweak.
I think Secret went up 2-1 in the series, if I'm remembering correctly. I can't remember.
But why though? Like, what is happening in these games?
That was a great Mata series where he was all over it. He was like pre-jumping a bunch of stuff when they were trying to break out. I mean, it was a great version of Secret,
And you said it was Secret, and who else did they lost to that major?
Gentlemates. Gentlemates was weird because they are winning that series if they don't completely capitulate in that game 3. There was that, they're up 2-0 at 9 seconds. Then, they lose in regulations. I don't know how you lose that in regulation.
In regulation?
In regulation, they let 2 kickoff goals.
It's the one where it spits over to Eugen for like the game winner where he's on the sidewall. Yeah.
Yep. I don't know if that was the game winner or the game tire. They definitely had a set kickoff play. But they were able to get it in regulation. And I genuinely think that like killed any kind of momentum they had for the rest of the tournament. Like they immediately lose the next game to Gentlemates, so they lose that in 4, and then they don't look as threatening against Secret. And it's like, I know Carmine had a bad event. They still took down Carmine Core first. Like that had to mean something. But considering we didn't see any follow-up in EWC, it's like I'm really not holding out all that much hope for them. It's not impossible, but I think that and the flashbacks to last year's Gen G with 2/3 of this team completely capitulating at the World Championship, it's like I can understand feeling like you can't expect too much from them.
Yeah, 2/3 of this roster lost to Pioneers last year in their season.
Oh my gosh.
there's a reason that the hope doesn't feel super there anymore.
Seems like they peaked a little early, huh?
Yep.
Great Birmingham. Awesome version of Chronic. And don't forget, in Birmingham, they were basically going to be out of it, and then Chronic hits this crazy like redirect skim off the sidewall and like gives them life. I can't remember who it was, but they were up against the wall.
Series. Yeah.
And then they end up coming back. So I mean, we were a couple fractions away from being like this Ultimate's entire season has been underwhelming.
Yep, we would have had Ultimates drop down to face Fury if they lose that Vitality series, but they were down, I think, 1-0 in that game 3. I was saying chalk it up because they like immediately conceded after the timeout. But they're down 2-0 in the series, down 1-0 in game 3. And then, yeah, of all people on that team, you got First Killer and LJ on that team, and it's Chronic hitting the sidewall skim, and suddenly they got momentum. It's like, I don't know if this Chronic's hitting another sidewall skim. He hasn't recently, and it's like even the 0 second against EK that you would expect to like actually propel something forward, they just immediately lose 3 games after that. So
can I hit you guys with kind of a hot take? It's a half baked idea. I haven't like totally got there yet, but it's been rummaging around my mind. I think it's going to get Martian really excited. I think Mel is going to have a great take on this. Is there not a world where SSG have the best finish in North America at the World Championship?
Oh, yes, that is a very, very possible world, and that pisses me off. Don't get me wrong.
That's exactly what I was hoping.
That pisses me off. Okay,
this is the exact reaction.
I've been looking at the SSG bracket right now. I'm like, okay. They play good against Falcons. Can they beat Vitality? They can beat Vitality, but they probably lose to Falcons, whatever happens there. Okay, then they go down, and then they face possibly NRG or Vitality again to make it into the next day. I don't know if that's happening, or if they lose immediately to Vitality, they go down, they play like whatever, I don't know, C3 is that loses to Falcons, I guess. I don't know. And then probably like Twisted Minds, a secret, assuming NRG could come up with a win there. I think that's how that works.
Yeah. So playing this out for SSG, I, especially with what we saw at EWC, I am in no way, shape, or form predicting them to be early tournament Vitality. Vitality has looked like the best team in the world on days 1 and 2, basically every single LAN so far this year.
They've been undefeated until playoffs every time, I think.
Yeah,
sorry.
Exactly. No, you're good. Once they get to playoffs, that's a different story, right? But it's like we lost 16-3. I am not predicting us to beat Vitality. That being said, the winner of Twisted Minds versus Secret, I'm assuming NRG beats them. I'm assuming NRG beats, Ninja Pajamas or Shopify Rebellion, if whoever comes out and play in Seed 2. I don't really care. NRG wins, assuming NRG gets top 6 in that quadrant, which they theoretically should. The winner of Secret and Twisted Minds is a very beatable team for Space Station. And it is even better if we, for some reason, do beat Vitality and then lose to Falcons, because then I think we get the loser of Secret versus Twisted. But either of those teams is like, the fact that we showed we can beat Twisted and we are at least scaling up on LAN is signs for potential. I do agree with Mel that it's like we should not be overperforming NRG based on what we've seen from North America. Now, if North America has this, amazing breakout performance where suddenly they've got multiple teams in the top 8 and they're actually challenging. It's like, if it was Space Station beating NRG in a semifinal to make a finals, that's an acceptable way for Space Station to outplace NRG, similar to what we saw in Birmingham with Ultimates, right?
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's like, yeah, I don't think Space Station places higher than NRG at this LAN. I think me of all people cannot be saying that, but I don't think if that is even possible, it's like that wouldn't be a good thing based on everything.
So let me see. So they're making the playoff bracket. So this will be match what? So this goes here. Lower bracket C. What is this? Group B. Group B.
I haven't done
higher C
yet.
And then GSL Group A.
Shout out Cody.
Lower bracket C.
Yeah, shout out Cody.
2. Lower bracket. So who would that even be? Like Furia or Dignitas in the first round? No, Dignitas is going.
Furia and not making.
Or is that?
I don't know. While you're working out the seeding, I mean, Napo and Kofor seem like they went head to head, and Kofor got the better of him. That's got to be worth something,
Yep. Yeah, Cover's higher on my top 25 now. Like,
then again, the other two.
I'm kidding. By the
way, I think that was and that whole tournament was an excellent result for SSG. Like exactly what you want. Like beat some high quality teams, really got put into their place and like refocus them, and then hung around but got beaten pretty handily by one of the favorites, so that you want to chase like a little more. You know what I mean? It's like it's like exactly what you want for like a young team at their second LAN.
I mentioned it with Geeky, but they dropped a 2-goal lead in game 1 that probably changes how the entire series go. If they hold on to that game, like it's probably at least going to Neo Tokyo. So
good spot. I said Mel said he didn't want to do a recap, and I basically made us recap the entire game.
Oh yeah, we've been talking about freaking bouncing between EWC and Worlds for the past hour. Damn. Oh no, not even like 30 minutes. Yeah, I mean, there is definitely a world where that happens. There is also a world where Shopify and Gen G, NRG, and freaking SSG all make the top 8.
We didn't say ultimates in that.
No, we did not. No, the hell we did not say ultimates in that.
I want to follow up on that. You think Rebellion can make top 8, but you're not as confident in ultimates making top 8?
No, because ultimates have to play freaking Geeky, and then if they win that, they have to play Carmine Corp, and then they have to go down and then face whoever the hell's next up. They have to face the my camera.
Oh, we lost.
They have to. They have to face the loser of like Dignitas and Furia.
Yeah.
Am I tweaking? Yeah, they're not making it out of that group. If they can't make it out of EWC group of death, they're not making it out of World Championship group of death. I'm sorry, that's not happening. So
you're overrated Furia, I think. Because if Ultimates draw Fury again, they're like thanking everyone and taking their ticket to the playoffs.
You think they like that matchup?
I think they do. They showed that.
Ultimates?
And Furia has been the least inspiring team that we've seen over the past month.
Yeah.
We are ripping on Furia and Ultimates.
I'm sorry. Listen, I like Furia.
This is absolutely hilarious. Jorby's never going to watch me ever again. This is sad.
No, Jorbia would be ripping on them too. I'm sure of it, man. You can't go. Did they even win that game? I know you said they scored first against Geeky. Did they go 0-6?
No, they won. No, they won the game. They won the game because they held on somehow. Right. By the way, but we won everything else very dominantly.
Yeah, they went 1-6 from a team that's like, I at least expect you to be somewhat competing to get out of this group of death. Like, just give me something. You didn't even make it look competitive. I gave you the benefit of the doubt in Raleigh because you ran to Carmine Car round 5. This was something else.
You know where Furia's at right now? Bop posted his power rankings on Twitter, and he had Team Secret above Furia, and I was like, not that bad of a take.
That's very fair. That's very fair.
That's where Furia.
Everyone I've talked to, I've had Secret above Furia recently. And I think that's a very fair thing to say because, I don't know, look at the results. Although I feel like Secret have had the easier draws, though, than Furia. I think they've had I think Secret have had much easier draws than Furia.
Ultimates.
Yeah, I think that was the one real good quality win that Secret had over the past 2 international.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd give them Gentlemates too, though. In a best of 7 as well.
Oh, yeah. And I was there for that. I'm not Raleigh. I don't even remember what happened at Raleigh. Goodness.
That was a weird major.
That was. And then I guess we covered everything that we wanted to cover for the EWC and then the state of teams before Worlds. We kind of autoed through that. I guess we were talking a whole bunch about how SSG and how it'd be piss me off if they placed above NRG at the World Championship. But in the future, that wouldn't be too bad of a take to have because, like I said, the way they play is kind of shifting towards how the meta is going right now. And going into next season, I wouldn't be surprised if SSG, God willing, they stick together, would probably be North America's #1 seed next year. Assuming a whole bunch of other things happen, like depending on how energy goes, they either stick together or they split. They might split regardless. I'm not too sure. Although the idea of them splitting just is so weird. Then there's obviously the future of NA. I'm sure Frosty is going to be available. Mech is definitely going to be picked up by a good team. I think Ultimates is splitting up no matter what happens. Same with Shopify. So Wavy could be available. We could see Wavy and Mech team together, or maybe like a Wavy and Frosty type thing. Mech's going to be in there somewhere. And we're going to start to see the current gen of North America fade away a little bit in the next season or two. And when I mean current, I mean the current gen. I guess you can include Reynolds in there, although he's kind of old gen for me.
Nah, he's old gen. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just an old head. I don't know. Old gen kind of, but like the current gen is probably going to start fading away. Current gen, I'm talking about everybody in the Ultimates roster. Actually,
who do you think?
I think it's going to get so competitive next year that whoever, even if the players aren't bad, there are going to be some players that are top tier that aren't going to be making a major or two or even a world championship. I think that's how competitive N is going to get next year, just with how the roster is going to shift. That's just my personal take on it.
Who do you think is going to be the best player in North America in 2 seasons?
I think next year is probably going to be Scribbles.
You think so?
I was actually going the same way. I was going the same way.
Wow,
Probably
really?
slightly biased. And here's the thing with Scribbles, right? I think
Look at you guys.
We hear about it a lot where it's like you take Sipical at the start, you take Daniel after that. You know, I think Magic Bear has slotted into this role pretty nicely as well. But like the third man role is like, if you can lock that down and be really good at that, it's like that is a foundational piece for a top tier roster. And Sipical did it so perfectly back on SSG with Arsenal and Reynolds, and then Daniel took a spot and did the exact same thing, and it worked super well for a year. Magic Bear, it hasn't panned out as well, but I know that's a big reason why, you know, Reynolds wanted to stick by him for so long. But I think Scrib is a player who understands, like, you know, he's almost like that extra type before. And I think, you know, when you think of extra, it's like you think he was just the third man, the backup for BDS, despite the fact that he was super talented mechanically. And if you remember his season on AS Monaco, he was the star player. He gave up being the star player when he joined BDS so he could win world championships. I think Scrib understands this and has that mentality. And for a player as young as like 15, understanding this and being able to take that mentality for the next few years, that is something that's actually super exciting to me. And I had that opinion before he joined SSG, for the record. So
I love this take. I wouldn't even considered him. Mel, I don't know if you have anything to say about Scribbles. I'm taken aback. I didn't even think that he would be. He wasn't even floating around in my head. What makes you high on Scribbles?
First of all, Scribbles walking down the stairs when they're playing Falcons. The Saudi crowd booing. He's out here cry baby. Oh, I was streaming. I remember I said, Scribbles, turn me the hell up, baby. Come on. Oh, I'm all for that. I love that. Oh my God. First of all, I don't know Kofor personally. Scribbles is such a leader. The way that he puts things together, he's such a leader. So now my thing is with him, he's able to come in, he's able to bring this roster, probably take this roster, put this roster back in the game. Scribbles, reveal out here sitting in the middle. I might be Scribbles, I'm not gonna hold you. Fist pumping both people. Come on now, be captain, come on now. But the thing is with Scribbles, is he is all over the place. Every clutch moment I feel like SSG have had, from Rally to EWC, I feel a lot of that has been Scribbles. Scribbles shooting, Scribbles passing, getting a clutch save on defense. Scribbles is an amazing defender. Like, where did that come from? Like, what? Yeah. And what he was able to turn that into, the way he's able to beat 2 players and then get a reset, then go off of the ball for a reset to get a bump. How physical, like the people from Snowman, that was my team right there. Like, people forget that it was Scribbles who was the original, like, super aggressive physical player on Snowman roster. Every person that got the demo on that team, it was just Scribbles. and Scribbles would just average like 4 or 5 goals demos a game, and I'm like, what the heck? Then he'll demo, turn back around, headhunt a second person, stay downfield, take the boost, stay downfield as an outlet to pass to. Someone bangs the ball downfield, all of a sudden he's coming off the ceiling for a redirect. Like, it makes no sense to me sometimes. Like, that is just the way Scribbles is. Not to mention he's going to have a high impact for this roster. Whenever they face any other rosters, he's going to be he might not always be the star player, but he's always going to have the highest impact, in my opinion, regardless of what happens. Other than Scribbles, saying it could be in 2 seasons,
2 years.
If Frosty could get on a good team and drop something, I don't want to say, if he could get on a team in 2 years and all goes well for him, I'll say he might have it in him to end up being the North American MVP. First killer better retire in 2 years. I don't know what, dude, whatever. But either him or Devo, my Devo. Oh, my sweetheart. That child. I basically raised that kid.
He looked great in LCQ, despite them not making it, but really impressive.
I hope he can turn it around. I keep telling people in 2 years he's going to be one of the best in the world with how good he's been.
See, look, Mel, you're worried about the state of North America. Mech, Devo, what are you worried about? Scribbles?
I'm worried about us not making none of North America making the top 8 of the World Championship. That's what I'm worried about. That's very, very, very
possible. Don't worry about it. This is a Boston Celtics. This is a Boston Celtics off season. You know, you're off.
Boston traumatizes us, North America.
Tatum's out for the season. Next year is the year.
Let's say Boston out of everything. As a matter of fact, that Boston major that we had. Oh my God! Don't get me started on that.
North American player in the top 8.
I don't know.
Who even was that? Was that Chronic?
Chronic, yeah.
I still feel like I don't know. My knee-jerk reaction is just to still say beast mode in 2 years. Maybe that's short-sighted.
Maybe that's very in 2027. He's gonna be like 21. He's gonna be on a CRO team.
Well, he makes a lot of money from Rocket League.
Yeah, he does.
Which is definitely something that'll keep you in the loop for a little bit. I think, something that you can take like the Vatira story, where once you are a certain quality of player, you can kind of maneuver through the scene in a way that befits you. Like Vatira is always going to get high quality talent, not only because of the results that he's had. Who was it? Did you guys see that Lucas posted that he's made like 28 straight championship Sundays? I was like, oh my God.
He was up there for a while.
Once you're floating in kind of that area, you kind of can call your shots in a way that top players will come to you. Like, I think Beast Mode's in a similar kind of situation. Let's just assume that NRG fractures by that point. Maybe him and Daniel are like, hey, Scribbles, come on over, and then he can kind of keep things.
I was going to say, I'm thinking Beast Mode and Scribbles are going to be on the same team in 2 years. That was like, I was talking about with my friends. Like, I think Beast Mode and Scribbles in 2 years. Or Beast Mode and somebody, or Scribbles and someone on the NRG roster that wasn't an NRG roster are going to be teammates in 2 years. That is I think Scribbles, not now, but in a year after next season, is going to be the easiest to poach by a top tier team, by like another top tier NA team, in my opinion. And when Scribbles looks and he sees the paycheck that's coming with it, he ain't saying no. He ain't there. I mean, that's enough to send him international studies for university. Like, dude, come on now.
Yeah.
Somebody could have like a mech adjacent LCQ here at the World Championship they perform so well that a team basically has to take a flyer on them. If they come out and Scribbles is just, killing people, maybe your hand is kind of forced, maybe a new, I don't know, NRG feels tough. It's tough to like touch that. It feels icky to even talk about them yet.
Right.
But Mel, you and I see First Killer very differently. I still think First Killer is awesome. Maybe he's somebody where it's like, hey, you put him onto a roster. I get that he is a system in and of himself. He is very James Harden-esque in that way. But I don't know. I still feel like there's a lot of places where North America can shift around, and it looks very compelling next season.
Right, doesn't it? It looks so competitive. So you said you'd have beast mode in your head, MVP in 2 years. So that's what you said.
Yeah, I think he's so good. I think beast mode's awesome.
That beast mode is awesome.
I think we're reaching the point as well. Like, we saw the skill ceiling increase so rapidly, especially with the introduction of the open era and having so many more matches in the season, that like a lot of the old guard was kind of forced out because, the pace of, amount of games you're playing, as well as the pace of how quickly the skill ceiling is improving as younger players who are able to dedicate more time to the game come in. It's a lot harder to stay up to the level of play that's on the pitch. And I think like over the past few years, that's slowed down a little bit. Like, yes, the skill ceiling is definitely still increasing. We're still seeing like new mechanics come out. Like, I know the Zen touch has been something that people are obsessed with over this past 2 years. And we see.
No, it's called the Riptide touch, buddy. Get it right, bro.
Okay, the Zen Riptide touch, whatever you call it.
The Evan Pop, there's still stuff.
Evan Pop, yes. But it's like you can see, players start to work on this, but I feel like it's much more few and far between, as opposed to like when suddenly we're going, we can air dribble to we're hitting double resets or you're not able to keep up, So I think that, reaching that area where the skill ceiling is increasing a little bit slower will keep players like Beast Mode, like Vatira that we've already seen, like, Daniel, a lot of the new guard that came in at the start of the open era, I think they're going to have slightly longer careers than some of the older guard that was forced out as that skill ceiling increased super quickly. So I can see the beast mode angle, but I do think there's going to be more players that are coming in, especially with North America and how little, impression they've left internationally. There's been a lot of disappointments when it comes to international performance from North America. And so I think there's hopefully a lot of young players that are coming up. We've already seen it with Space Station making their first LAN, slowly improving over time on the LAN stage. Scribbles, he's doing cry faces to the Riyadh crowd against Falcons. Like, that's the kind of energy that we need, and like the performance to back it up almost came with it as well. Like, as we keep getting those, I think we'll be in a better and better spot. But it wouldn't surprise me to still see names like Beast Mode, like Daniel, like First Killer still around in 2 years.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. And the thing is, too, I think this is going to be the first off season in a very long time, maybe even in history, I'm not too sure, where there's a chance that every single team splits up in some sort of way or replaces somebody, probably except for Falcons because they are on a ridiculous contract, or potential maybe Space Station. I think I don't feel like Space Station's splitting unless something crazy happens and someone gets poached.
That's the scenario I see as well.
Yeah, outside of that, I think this is going to be the first off season in a long time or in history that almost every team splits up. Every team in the top 12 of every region, I feel like, is splitting. Oh, I mean, if they don't win Worlds, they're definitely splitting.
I think if they do win Worlds, they might split too.
Yeah, just like the way the meta has begun to shift as well. People are calling Vatira the best player in the world. I think Atal might be the best player in the world right now. I'm not gonna hold you. The reason I'm saying that, we look back at some Vatira, at some Carmine Core replays. Atal is constantly doing the most on the field at all times, and there's series where Drowley just kind of sucks, and it's like you look on the field and like, Drowley, what the hell are you doing, dude? The only series I feel like he played good that whole tournament was against EK. Every other match I saw him play, he just was not on, and it was all Atal. I think Atal right now is the best play. If it's not Zen, I think Atal is the best player in the world. At the very least, it probably is still Zen right now, but Atal has to get that shout somewhere. I don't think Vatira is. Drowley has been inconsistent in a good way. And when I say in a good way, that means even when he's not good, he's still good. Like, it's weird. He's still good enough to be a top 10 player in the world when he's not at his best, but not good enough to be called the best player in the world type thing. And there have been, over the past 2 like over the past couple of regionals and events, more or not, he hasn't been performing to what everyone now understands to be his best. So I think that's why the world number one position will fluctuate consistently. And I think right now, going into the world championship, I think the only two people I am even putting in the conversation for world number one are Zen and Atal, just from what I've seen.
I think it's LeBron.
LeBron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to talk about him and Jordan. I think we should put him into this conversation as well. You know, but can I say about Atal, I agree offensively, elite tournament in EWC. He's really great. He's a very physical player, gets a lot of demos, especially in the box to set up very easy goals for Carmine Core. Great small pad player, great boost steal numbers from Atal as well. Really helps them hold that pressure down. If you go watch that Falcons series, just watch the highlights. Shout out Edit Tim. Go watch the video of Falcons versus Carmine Core. Almost every goal that Falcons scored was off of an Atal defensive mistake, whether it's getting dunked in his own corners or half flipping in the middle of the field and getting beat. That's the thing that holds Atal back from the Zen and Drali conversation for me. But offensively, he was putting in everything in EWC. It was reminiscent of Clears at Raleigh, which is something that was historic. So that's a differentiator for me, at least the way I see it.
So if what the flip? Okay, so if Drali is the best at offense and the worst at, where are the other two players stopping them from getting scored? That like where is Vatira, Mr. Defense? Where is he stopping them from getting scored on that? If Atal's half flip. Like, I don't know. Like, Carmine Corp looked so beatable, dude. And I don't know how they won that tournament. But they always look so beatable and find ways to win, dude. It's ridiculous.
They shot way less. They took way less shots against Carmine Core than the field. When Falcons played, I think they were at like 9.5 shots per game, and Carmine Core held them to like 7. They're really good at like really constricting you. You know what I mean? And I think Johnny had talked about it on the broadcast. It's almost like Falcons are like they're almost trying to give you the ball to be like, oh, you got us. And then they're trying to actually, like, they think you got him. It's like the call an ambulance, but not for me meme. You know, they're like, you got us on the ropes, but then Falcons are kind of like hitting them back. And Carmine are just really good at not letting you do that. But we've also seen Carmine, you know, have a catastrophic series. And Mel, you were talking about Drali being inconsistent. I mean, the Twisted Mind series was alarming for Drali. So, you know, who knows? This one's in France too, right? Big French tournament for a French org. Maybe that plays a role here as well. But now I'm just rambling.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's scary. It's going to be weird. It's going to be interesting. I'm just saying, if I am, the Falcons are going to get terrible treatment up there, aren't they? Now that I think of it, Saudi crowd kind of memed on the French. If Falcons step up there in France, it's gonna be crazy up there. The French are crazy, bro. Every French event I ever watch, the French Open in tennis, that's actually the only reference I have. It's ridiculous. All right, every French,
every French event,
Yep.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah, but imagine next season. I think they're going to be 5 competitive EU teams. I think they're going to be 5 or 6 competitive, and maybe not. I don't know because
they won't have that many spots. Good for NA.
Where's Oski going to go? Right? Where's Juicy going to end up? Like the Genomates guy, Seiko's probably. I don't know if Seiko's going to let another go. That's a conversation for another day, actually.
Going on Seiko's roster building another time.
Yeah.
Seiko for Pisky?
For who?
For Pisky on BSK? I'm serious. Mozzarella, Rusty's, Seiko?
What's the hate on Pisky? First of all, I actually had BSK winning LCQ and they didn't win LCQ, so that might be a very valid move. I don't know why I had them winning LCQ. I just wanted to see Wrestling land. But yeah, I hate those types of formats after grinding a whole season just to have one team that might not actually deserve it make the major. Talking about formats, Martian.
Yeah, we're talking about formats.
Somehow, some way, it's led me to hear some you don't appreciate something about the regional formats, so maybe you appreciate something too much about the regional formats. We're going to talk about that.
Honestly, like the individual regionals, I feel like they've improved. I'll actually like go on the record and say that when they announced we were doing AFL format for Worlds last year, I was like, this makes perfect sense for regionals, but why are we doing it for Worlds? Like, just do a single elim. My mind was changed so fast upon saying that. Dude, that was incredible. And I've really enjoyed having that, extra life if you make it through the top. Not as, if you make it through second place in your group, then you got to go through the gauntlet. It's definitely not as bad as a traditional lower bracket. But personally, like the GSL groups into AFL, where you don't have to do this weird like 3-1 tiebreaker deal with Swiss, I think it's great. I've contemplated like, how could you change it for next year potentially, because it is basically like a double elimination bracket until you get to the semifinals, and then it becomes single elim, which I can see the complaint with that a little bit. And then maybe in order to mix that up, you introduce just like 4 groups of 4 and have the round robin type thing. I'm not sure if people would be a fan of that, truthfully, because I know tiebreakers are always a mess with that. But in terms of the regionals, honestly, I thought it was fine. The one thing I've been looking into a decent amount is Swiss, because I have had a bone to pick with Bruno Buchholz this entire season. I think everything in our scene is over-relied on your opponent's strength of schedule. You can go perfect. You can be undefeated, not drop a single game in actually your entire RLCS season so far, and still end up the 2nd seed in your group just because your opponents didn't do so well. And so I think something needs to be fixed there. I don't know if it's just going back to game differential or introducing a slightly better metric, but Bruno has been way too strong. I respect its purpose for getting us out of Swiss. Like, it gets the best 8 teams out of Swiss. But when it's used for seeding within the groups, like, you end up with a South America group that has all 6 of the top 6 from event 1, all in group A for event 2. So I just ranted about Bruno. I could rant about Bruno for a lot longer. But yeah, I guess if we're going to keep doing Swiss stages, something's got to be fixed there. But other than that, like, just the general regional format, I think it's pretty solid. I think Mel lost his earbud or something, so I can keep ranting if you want me to keep ranting.
Yeah, I found it. I don't know why the other one was on the floor. I thought I put it charging, and this one said battery low. So I'm like, oh shoot, it's not in the thing. I'll be charging in a second. Either way. Oh, this conversation.
I could go for a while. I don't have time to go for a while. Like, I can't be going to like 2 a.m. or anything. I'm not watching the
I did, but I don't go to 2 a.m. neither. I got tennis practice tomorrow, dog.
No 2 a.m. bucles.
I still got to cook dinner.
Yeah, jeez.
I have to cook dinner too. Oh wait, you old. That's just like that's an adult thing. I cook dinner for me, myself, and I. Because I am me, myself, and I. We're cutting that out of the video. We're cutting that out of the video. The next topic. I love this one. Do y'all rate Zen higher than Vatira because Zen has a world championship and Vatira doesn't, but Vatira has 3 majors? And this all comes into the conversation of how much do majors actually mean when it comes to legacy. Zen has a major in a world championship and so many semifinals, and he hasn't broken through since, but so many semifinals, right? And Vatira won a major in 21-22 and 22-23 and 24-25. So there have been gaps in Carmine Corp's international dominance. Remember that. But individually, all time, or maybe even for the open era, and however you want to look at it, who do you have? Basically, I guess for all time, who would you rate higher?
Like if you could only include one of them into the Rocket League Hall of Fame. Which of the two are you choosing? That kind of
not like that. It'd be like if Zen is 4th and Vatira is 6th all time type thing, or like if rankings wise. I'm not saying where you'd rank them, but who would be higher on your list?
All time right now, I'd have Vatira higher, I think, than Zen. Zen is almost certainly going to eclipse it. Just with the current trajectory, I feel like the Vitality season has been weird, but I don't know. It's tough for me to look at the debut season and be like, that's the peak. You know what I mean? I feel like there's going to be some other iteration of Zen, but Vatira's consistency is just very difficult to beat.
Is it he's won 3 majors, but there have been gaps between his dominance. That's what I'd said. Like,
yeah,
he won one on Moist, okay, and then they didn't perform at the World Championship right after that because Yan wanted to play spoiler. Then Vatira and them went into the next major, the fall 22-23, and they lost in top 8. In pretty bad fashion too. Then they win in the next major because First Killer didn't know how to play the ball off the backboard correctly. And then they don't win the next 2 international events because then came out of nowhere. They make the first major last year, lose to the eventual champion, the 4th seed of EU, don't make the major after that, make worlds, make top 4 in a Mickey way, and then win the last regional, win the first major of the season, Birmingham, and then get reverse swept by Twisted Minds. I'm just a Vatira hater, okay? But he has the most majors out of anyone right now. But like at the same time, if he's not winning a world championship, does he not? Who's got more majors than him?
I think Appjack does because he only missed London too.
You mean as far as consistent?
Oh, are we talking most major wins or most major attendance?
Yeah, major wins.
Oh, no, it's Vatira. Sorry, continue.
So like I'm thinking, like Vatira's got the most major wins, yeah, but they all came at gaps of dominance, and then someone else ended up winning world championship. So I'm like, okay, whatever. That kind of plays in its own thing. But if I'm rating him against Zen, I need Zen to do me one favor. I need Zen to win like a major. I need Zen to do anything, and he's better than Vatira for me. That's the one argument there. Anything he's better over Vatira.
I have a follow-up question that has a point with it.
Uh-oh.
Who would you guys rate higher all time, Garrett or Justin?
What? No, you can't do that. That's not even fair. That's not even fair.
I feel like that makes a lot of sense here.
I would take Justin.
Interesting. Okay.
I would take Justin too. Wow. Sadly, although I like Garrett more, I would take Justin.
Okay, I actually didn't expect that. I feel like I've seen the other way or the other opinion on that a decent amount.
No, because Justin just made another world championship, and he's been here for such a long time. Yeah, should have made worlds last year, didn't.
I guess that part's valid. Okay, if we flash back like 2 years ago, like as we're focusing only on the league play era, I think a lot of people
2 years ago, my God,
a lot of people expect Garrett. Sorry. But I think even, no matter who you choose there, I think one of the main things that gives Garrett the edge over Justin, because I think it's probably inarguable that while they were teamed together, Justin was probably the best player on that roster 99% of the time. What propels Garrett G higher than that is just how long he was doing it for. You know, he had attended every single world championship from season 1 to I think 2022, right? And so despite the fact that Justin had the higher peaks, was the one to like deliver the final blow in, Madrid. It's like, because Garrett was there longer and doing it over a period of time, even if he wasn't winning it, he was doing it over a longer period of time. A lot of people considered Garrett ahead. I think you have to view the Zen Vatira debate the same way. I think Vatira has been around for longer. I don't know. Like, I see what you're saying, Belleair, with the trajectories. Like, I walked out of the Boston Major thinking like this is going to be, I just watched the future GOAT win his first tournament, and it has not panned out that way ever since then. But I think the longevity that Vatira's done it, he's done it with multiple different teams. He's done it with different coaches. like we saw Zen be incredible for a very incredible like 5-month period, and I'm never gonna undersell that Vitality run. But since then, and another discussion is since losing Farah, he hasn't had the same kind of success.
I agree with you.
Whoa. Okay, I don't know. One thing I will say is that with Farah, Carmine Corp just had a big confidence booster with their EWC win. So, because I was starting to doubt Farah a little bit. I mean, after that Twisted Minds thing, I'm like, how can you not pull your roster back? Because people started looking shaky by game 3. I'm like, oh boy. But he did well. There weren't any too close scares for Carmine Corp. I mean, they beat everyone comfortably except for Falcons, but
and NRG played them close.
All right.
Game 5 overtime, but also group stage. I think I'll back up the Farah point being not necessarily like, is it his pedigree as a coach necessarily? And maybe this fits into that, but I just think Farah was able to get the most team-friendly version out of Zen, where he knew his teammates weren't perfect, but still relied on them in a lot of places. And then since then, I've seen much like gameplay that's a lot closer to Ronaldo than it is to Messi kind of thing, where it's more of the like, I know I'm the best player on the pitch and I'm going to get it done. And at some point, that costs you trophies. Why has First Killer not won a trophy yet? I feel like that is night and day right there. But since
Dez was right.
Yeah.
Since losing that, you know, I think Farah was just the right person for Zen to be like, dude, calm down. You're not all that. Trust your teammates. They will deliver for you. They are not perfect, but they don't need to be on your level. If you still play this game as a team, you're going to win. Because, like, I understand that Radosin and Alpha 54 did not have the best 2024, but you got 2/3 of the World Championship team and you haven't won anything in 2025. You can't tell me that, especially going into the season, Monkey Moon and Exotic are a team that you need to solo hero ball with. So,
yeah. Now that's very fair, but at the same time, they both Exotic and Monkey Moon have not looked good at all throughout a majority of the season. And I'm like, there are times where they have looked good. Exotic, I feel like at more points has looked better than Monkey Moon throughout the season in my eyes. But Zen is the only one that looks consistently good. And maybe you are right. Maybe it's that a lot of that, if you're going to bring up what Farah got out of Zen, and if it is that specific problem, then it becomes more about coaching than about the players, in my opinion, because coaches are way more important than people give credit for. And if you're a coach, and I've had this conversation with a lot of people, including Mr. Hammer, okay, Mr. JC Hammer, who came everywhere, actually. If you cannot command the respect of your roster as a coach, you're not going nowhere. It's the same thing I said with Xperia on SSG. But Xperia knows. Same thing I talked about. I mean, Geeky had that one. Can Geeky have that with Ixo? But if you cannot command respect out of your roster, and I don't think Casio can, I don't think that's not good. I don't think that's good looking Vitality. I'm not going to hold you. It's going to be the same thing over and over again.
I don't speak French, so I can't really tell you if Casio does have control over that locker room. I wouldn't be able to understand what they're saying. But just based on the pitch, it's like, I mean, Zen's been through multiple coaches now since Farah. He had Farah, then Fairy Peak, now Casio. It's like, I don't know if there's a presence that he's respected as much as Farah. I think Farah really did do a good job commanding the room. And even though he is dealing with, you know, superstar players, it's like he's still, I mean, I guess Zen wasn't technically a superstar player until he actually showed up on the pitch and he was coached by Farah that entire time. So, but yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of opinions on Hero Ball. Like, I think it's the main reason that First Killer hasn't won a trophy. And I feel like every single time it's always First Killer's teammates' faults. And I know like we've done this cycle for years where it's like, oh, it's First Killer's teammates' fault. So maybe it's First Killer's fault. It's like, oh, he's got a great team now. It's like, oh, they actually aren't that good. You know, I'll rant for hours on Daniel on SSG in 22-23 when he was teamed with Arsenal and LJ, and everyone was walking away from that when Daniel left, being like, oh, LJ and Arsenal are basically going to be a bubble team now, and they were probably the best team out of NA, or at least the most consistent team out of NA that split, making the major. Like, it worries me for Zed's career. I want him to have more of that, you know, team play dynamic, because I mean, if you can't trust Monkey Moon and Exotic, I don't know where you go, but I think you do need a coach in the room getting your head a bit more level and telling you, hey, not everything has to be you.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. And I mean, talking about the coaches commanding respect of players, I feel like that sometimes can come with age. And something that people try to argue about, right? This is me swiftly changing topics. Was the whole talking about age thing, and the age requirement conversation got brought up again because of the SSG Vitality series. And it was the stupidest thing ever. Rockets, I love you. But dude, what was that tweet? You said he said basically, this is why the player requirement should be raised again. Kofor and Reveal are 18 years old. What are you talking about, bro? Scribbles wasn't the one AFK. He was trying the whole 5 minutes of the match. Like, come on, bro. Let's not get carried away. Everyone's looking for any little excuse to bring up the conversation to raise the age requirement. And thankfully, like you said earlier, Fear and T-Bates throughout the night had come out with those tweets saying, like, dude, it is not that big of a deal. Okay? And not only that, apparently Kofor had something medical going on too. But like, you can't tell me that are you gonna raise the age requirement limit to 20? Like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, they're both 18 years old. You have a 15-year-old there that might be the most like put together, the most calm, like mentally on the rock. Scribbles is breathe controlling himself back in the middle of his. I see Reveal back here, and then Kofor. Scribbles is the only one giving the Ronaldo pose over here, trying to calm himself down. Don't piss me off with the age requirement topic. That's some nonsense.
I got to tell you, my take on the age requirement conversation was that most people did not realize how old SSG actually were.
Yes.
Because we always talk about them as the young North American team. They haven't made any lands. So everyone just assumes that they're like all 12 years old, but they're much older than that. That was my take on the whole thing. It was the same as I had seen somebody on Reddit. They were like, Atau, Oski, and Acronic are all the same age because of Team Liquid. And it's like, no, Acronic is older than they are.
Yeah.
I think people just kind of think about, because even I, like, when that whole age requirement was going down, and I hate to be a party pooper, but I got to leave kind of soon. But when that whole conversation was going down, even I went onto Liquipedia and I was like, I don't think I knew that they were that old. Like, even I thought they were younger than that, you know, and I look all the time. They're the young team, you know, they're the young ones.
Yeah. And I know I talked about it like day of with a few people, but yeah, when the seemingly most mature member of the team is the youngest in this whole situation, it's like the whole like age requirement topic kind of wears thin. Yes, I mean, they're both 18. The coach, I don't think there's an age requirement for coaches. There might be, but it's probably 13.
It is 18 now for some reason. I'm a top 5 coach in North America, and they won't let me coach. That's some nonsense. Anybody will tell. Come on now, that's crazy. Whatever.
But yeah, I mean, raising the age requirement won't fix that. I think it's honestly like, I get where people are coming from. I would agree with it, but it's almost a moot point to even talk about if they're going to raise it at this point, considering they've gone backwards more recently than they've gone forwards. Like, at this point, like, age isn't the same thing as maturity. And I think we saw that on the pitch.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess the last thing I'll talk about is the excuse of they're just kids. Like it wore so thin so quickly, and I haven't seen another team get that excuse in this scene as much as this current SSG squad has. And that's kind of confusing because Team Liquid was definitely younger when they made their first LAN. Moist Esports was certainly younger. I guess it would have been Team Queso at the time, was certainly younger.
Yeah.
And it's like they didn't have a situation exactly like this, but it's also like they didn't get the same excuses. So
Whenever something happened, exactly. So that is a very, very fair point. And the less excuses we begin to give, the more critical we're allowed to be on the players, which I'm always there for. I've been saying it for years. The more critical we are on the players, the better North America will become, in my opinion, because people go be like, oh, but if there's always a common denominator with all of the nonsense that happens in North America. It's like pattern recognition. Like, dude, there's always something going on. So, I don't know. That's the whole thing. Why does NA suck so much right now?
okay, who is it? It was Johnny that tweeted out. It's like, as someone who's from Scotland and cheers for the Scottish national team, it's like you just have to accept that you're underdogs. He like tweeted that at Dazarin, and it's like,
oh yeah, I saw that.
He's just responding like, I'm just. I'm not upset that he's tweeted this because like it feels way too right. We just got so far behind, and then I think we got a bit of a mental block, genuinely. Like we had the spring 2022-2023 split was just detrimental to the entirety of all North American PR. And I honestly thought a lot of it was more PR than much, but it's like you're still, we had 2 teams in the top 8 for the first major this year. It's like that was worse than almost any major last year. Actually, I think it would have been technically worse. No. We had a semifinalist and a finalist at the first major. But it's like last year we had 2 teams in the top 8, then 3, then 3 again. Actually, no, just 2 because Gen.G fell off a cliff. Sorry. But it's like this year it's we always have that team that falls off a cliff. That's what I think the problem is, actually thinking about it more. You always have that team that just suddenly can't figure it out. And I'm noticing a common trend as we talk about Ultimates and FaZe Clan and
First Killers teams, dude. Hello?
FaZe Clan, but Gen.G as well. I thought it was an end of season abject curse, but it might be more first killer than I thought.
It is a first killer curse, dude. Every Belleair and look at tab. It is just you are very right. Didn't that happen with FaZe Clan? Rolled is just like, yeah, this is kind of what happened. Went and hit that was the best stream of all time.
In fairness, though, that completely shot North America in the foot. Like, I think there's a world where they still don't have, like, I think they get in their heads after that. Obviously, like, Sypical and Mist aren't playing the game at that point, and at least that part is probably chalked. But it's like, once Roldis goes out and it's like just tears the team a new one, it's like, okay, well, they're not mentally bouncing back from this, and they lost to Space Station and Moist. Like they just that was North America shooting itself in its own foot, especially at a time when we were still down in the dumps. For the record, still 3 North American teams made the top 8 that tournament. None of the top 4, but
yeah, right. Oh, that was 22-23, right?
Yep, Gen.G, SSG, G2.
Right.
Also, Europe is just really, really good.
Yeah,
let's not forget that.
I think that's honestly the biggest part, where it's just EU elevated, and then MENA kept up, but we didn't.
Because even MENA's 2 seed is Europe, basically.
Yeah.
No, we're not giving that to them. We are not giving that to EU. Yeah, Khaled. The loss is not Khaled, dude. Okay, they did not play on. He does Europe sometimes play on European ping.
There's spitting talent everywhere. They're in APAC. They're in SSA. Appjack and Nolly come over and win one over here.
They're in SSA.
Europe is the ultimate feeder.
You know where they're not? The land down under. Can't win an OCE.
Hey,
can't deal with the spiders, man.
They can't win an OCE. Can't win an OCE. I think that's a bigger problem. I mean, dude,
it is the most OCE thing that they're the only region that hasn't had a regional won by a European.
Ain't that so? Oh, Viziers went down there and they didn't win. Really? Did he not?
Mm-hmm. He didn't win.
What a useless transfer! Oh my god.
Wild card Scrims World, wild card, and then I think double wild card TSM is how it went this year. No Chiefs win. They made the major. But they didn't win.
Globetrotter.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. What else is here? Oh, player. Oh, we can all pick one player. There's each player or whatever player, their scariest version of themselves. And this was inspired by Belleair and an NFL post. Belleair had a post that said like greats, Rocket League greats, North America greats or something, and he had like Arsenal, Jane Apps up in there and typical. I'm like, oh my god. Then I saw an NFL post like, who's the scariest version, or they said who's the Celtics Shaq version of every player. But yeah, I don't know who wants to go first on that one.
World Championships in.
Scariest version, yeah.
Is that every World Championship or 2023?
The World Championship.
Okay, I was say because he got domed by LJ in 2024. But
yes,
damn,
that version of Zen was. I was like, I guess this is just this team is unbeatable for.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is the scariest version of a player?
I mentioned it pre-stream, but I feel like it's timely. Job security Radosin struck again.
Job security Radosin.
That's
looking
like,
to go.
I know that was like a whole moniker in, when it's like, oh, Vitality is going to be perfect, but Radosin needs to stop own goaling. It's like, oh, he's got his job back. And then like in 2024, even a little bit as well. It's like he almost job secured his way into being teamed with Zenit Exotic. There was a moment in that offseason where it looked like it might pan out that way before Monkey Moon came. But I mean, it didn't work on Gentlemates, but it worked against Gentlemates just fine. I would never have predicted a hat-trick in Game 7 against Hogan Mode and then sweeping his former org to make the World Championship.
That's insane.
BDS in there, but yeah, job security with real thing.
Oh my goodness.
Archie on 21 hours. We mentioned it earlier.
How about? Yeah, I was gonna say like Underdog Archie or something.
Mm-hmm.
Our Underdog Archie might be the best. Oh my goodness, the scariest version. Rattles when it's when I go home. Freaking 2020 Arsenal, or like, I'm trying to think of a good reference. Perms and the same year of whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, freaking!
People forget Arsenal was like our best player in 2020 fall. Like Sipical was obviously like the face of the team, just because he was normally the best. But like Arsenal was playing the best for us in 2020 fall. He was unplayable.
Damn, right? I missed those years, dude.
Those were great times.
Gosh, so nostalgic. Oh my goodness. And I guess I have one thing I want to touch on before we get off, because it's 9:17 already. Gibbs, you gotta understand. You gotta tell me whether it was you. Don't be embarrassed. You or somebody else up in that blast fancy looking black chair sitting up in the skyscraper with clear windows looking down on the rest of Central Park. Whoever it was up in those buildings that decided to come up with this ridiculous format to have players grind for a whole season, have a potentially meaningless team make the World Championship that didn't grind and didn't put their hours in, and then have a team that went into the World Championship that has points play the play-in, the same one that the teams that had to last chance qualify in for play in that same tournament. That makes no sense. Not to mention, why are we even having SSA and APAC in these tournaments if FUT and VP are both gonna be in the play-in too? Like, nobody cares about FUT. But for
they
VP,
might beat Rock.
But for VP, right, that's such a bad look for the region. For the APAC's population is rising insanely right now. Insanely right now. It's insane. In like 2 years, APAC might have the biggest player base out of all the freaking regions just because of how much the humongous content creators over there are highlighting Rocket League for no reason. Like Kino Trope's team stream had like 30,000 views for no reason, and I'm over here doing the Elevate stream with 500. I'm like, what the hell is going on over here? Like, and there's this random guy just this like diamond just hitting the ball, flying up, going past it. He's lagging in free play. It's freaking ridiculous. 30,000 people are watching that. If you have all of those APAC fans looking and watching the only APAC team not make the main event of the most important Rocket League event of the year, like, what are we doing, dude? That makes no sense to me. Like, regardless of if they're good or not, think about the state of the game. Please and thank you. Like, dude, you want to raise the regions and make players in other regions motivated to play? Do what you've been doing for the past couple of years and just give them the first seed spot for their whatever region, the 14th, 15th, 16th seed, or whatever you want to rate them as, however they place throughout the year, into the main event of the World Championship, instead of having to go through freaking ex-Corinthians, Genji, Rock Esports, Shopify, TSM, and Ninjas in Pajamas to make the main event. Like, that's just useless in my head. Like, dude, come on, bro. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have thoughts on that, but that's just like my way of thinking. Like, bro, come on, man.
I think Team Rock needs to look out for Foot, if I'm being honest with you. I'm serious. Foot's a weird team to play.
Matchup, yeah.
Yep. They looked pretty good at EWC. Team Rock coming in, no experience. I think Foot's kind of a dangerous team. But to your point, Mel, I understand the idea of trying to get the game in front of more eyes. I think that there's a chance that the World Championship might do that anyways. If they're the way that they're seemingly building this up, and kind of it's going to be in France and it's blast at the end of the year. They've had the whole time to go about doing it. Everybody wants to, get excited and tease that there might be some big drop. Who knows? I honestly don't care. But I think that the pomp and circumstance of what Lyon will be is going to be enough to, it could do numbers more in leveraging what the game looks like to others than adding a Kina trope into the LCQ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
First of all, Kino Trope should not be no LCQ. But I know what you're saying. That's very fair. Yeah.
I think I always try to think of what the next best format should be. Like, I'm always thinking what if we did this? What if we did that? And as I've gone through this process, I really don't want to just hit the undo button on some of the changes that have been made over the past 3-4 years in the scene. But truth be told, I miss the wildcard stage. And I think if you still had a wildcard stage, then something like, I know APAC still wouldn't be making the main event, but they'd at least get 3 series, right? And more often than not, you're probably going to win one of those, especially if you're as good as VP, because you're facing off against either another APAC team or an SSA team. You've got the 2 teams from your region representing you. You're probably going to get 3 or 4 matches at a minimum. We saw Elevate in 2023 go to round 5 and actually have a compelling case to make it out of the wild card stage. And that was a super fun story. I think the perfect balance would be, and I know this costs money and there's 1,000 reasons why this isn't happening right now, but I think if you had a wild card stage and then instead of just saying the last team in based on points, so what would it be in 2023? You take EU7, it'd be NA5, APAC 2, SSA 2. Instead of just taking that on points, then you can host your LCQ. Every single region gets a last chance qualifier spot. That way you have all 7 of them fighting out, and you can have a team with momentum heading into Worlds, but still have multiple representatives and a big weekend where it's I don't know if APAC fans are going to get excited if they just lose to Carmine Court and lose to Vitality, and that's the end of their tournament type thing, right? But if they're taking wins over G1, over, I forget who else they beat in that bracket. It was, but I think it was Pioneers actually. If they're taking like series wins, especially in best of sevens, like that is much more inspiring. And so, in order to actually get those eyes, I would love to open this up more, and then keeping. I might disagree with you on this, Mel, but like keeping the LCQ aspects, like yes, you can, kind of come out of nowhere and win it. And I think there needs to be restrictions on the LCQs where it's like, only the top certain amount of teams in points qualify for that. So you can't just have 3 random people that weren't teamed together sign up and just make a run. But I still like the idea of momentum and having everything on the line, because the amount of content that can come from that is incredible. So.
Yeah. No, that's very, very fair. All right. I don't know if we're gonna meet again before the World Championship, because I'm gonna have one busy. My school's starting like very soon, so I'm gonna be mad busy, and then I'm trying to play some tennis tournaments. So before we get off here, early prediction for World Championship, or I guess I don't think I should just throw that out there, because I feel like Martian's gonna do a video on it. So on predictions.
I haven't even thought of the predictions video. I could throw out like a just team.
If you want to throw out a team, or you could go ahead and say like a dark horse and a flop. I'm so funny. Dark horse and a flop. Let's do that.
So winning team, dark horse and flop, or
just... sure, winning team, dark horse and flop. Sure, I'll go with that.
All right. Winning team is Falcons. I'll go with them. Dark horse is. I don't.
He wanted to say SSG. He wanted to say SSG,
but I can't. Screw it. Go with them.
All right.
Flop will be, I think, by their standards, not necessarily flop as in like missing the playoffs, but flop as an underperform, maybe akin to what we saw in Raleigh. I think, as Belleair was talking about, pressure is a serious thing, so you never know.
You said who?
Carmine Core.
I like you so much. How about you, Belleair?
Well, I guess it's lame. I thought I was positioning myself to take Falcons winning. I feel like that's fair, though, right? If we both take it, it's not like that's too corny.
The RLCS defending major champions. I think it's completely fair.
It's double dipping, I suppose, but just to be interesting. I mean, I'm going to keep my eyes on Twisted Minds. I feel like that team and just the way that they play, every event is just a complete mystery. It's a total surprise. So them doing bad at EWC doesn't change my perspective on them basically at all. Like, I could see them show up and Atomic has a couple series and it's like, look at Twisted Minds making a top 6 or whatever. Flop. Man, who's going to like flop?
I feel like a lot of the teams that I could choose from here already flopped,
I mean,
yeah, shoot.
I guess like within the context of themselves, I'm not super excited about Ultimates and just kind of where they find themselves, generally speaking. Based on the community's perspective, I'll take GK as a flop. Just because it's like the community's like, here we come, World Championship, baby. And I think
what community is saying that? Nah, you tripping. What community is saying GK's winning the World Championship?
I'm rage baiting you, Mel, but I just think people were like,
you know, rage baiting's a sin, right?
It's like GK, they're what? They got to be top 2 or top 3 after EWC. It's like pump the brakes on that. That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna hit you with this do-rag. That's what I'm gonna do. I think you have given enough opinion for the night. My winner. Oh my goodness, this team has had.
Don't say wild card.
Every time. Don't. Oh, never in my wildest dreams. Oh my goodness. This team has had to go through excruciating series and have always burned themselves out before the final or almost going into the semifinal. I'm going to go with NRG. They're finally gonna complete the marathon. They're gonna win a couple of game 6s and game 7s in a row. They're not gonna burn themselves out before the final. They're gonna win. Okay.
Scenes if that happens, for the record.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I would love the French crowd be shut up during that. Then Dark Horse. I wanted to say Dignitas, but I really hope that they flop just because. That sounds so mean. Just because. Yeah, I don't know what kind of rivals. I don't want them to win. But yeah. So flop. So yeah, whatever. Dark Horse, either Ninjas in Pajamas or Geekay. And I would rather, obviously, I don't even know if I want to say Geekay as a dark horse. I feel like they're probably going to do good regardless. I think they should be in a position where they're expected to, at the very least, make a top 8 or something. I don't know. But I think Ninjas in Pajamas could do. Oski's going to do what he did last year and probably find a way to sneak into a top 6 again. Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Although I very famously said Diaz is going to be everything that they told us that would be, but this might be NASA's plan.
Yeah,
Still time.
So yeah, and then a flop. Command Corp's not winning, but I don't call them a flop. You said Ultimates already. If Furia loses, they wouldn't be considered a flop because they suck already. I'm gonna say Falcons. I think Falcons flop. Because
I said they could win. I see it too, though. I could see it. It's a possibility.
They looked unbeatable going into EWC. They would play a couple matches at EWC, look unbeatable, and then they face Carmine Corp and they faced SSG and they looked beatable. And I'm like, whoa. It got a little shaky, and then it's like they faced Carmine Corp and they actually got beat, and they looked like they didn't have a lot of confidence playing Carmine Corp. And Carmine Corp also looks very beatable right now. It's just that the rest of the Rocket League players suck right now. So I mean, that's just kind of the state of the game. But that was kind of a joke. That wasn't really a joke. I just worded that very harshly. But yeah, so those two teams are very, very beatable. My flop is Falcons. NRG, hopefully this will be their time to make things happen. And then GK, you got to do me a big favor. If NRG don't win this grand final, I'm going to need... Oli, I'm looking at you. You going to have to pull something out of a book. You gonna have to put something out of that 6'5" Dutch brain of yours to get this team into a grand final, and I'm gonna need Joyo to pull out Moist Joyo and win. We're gonna have to get some yellow and blue hairstyle for Joyo before the because he killed his hair anyways. So I mean, why not just wear it out because he bleached it like 30 times. But you know what, Joyo, dude. We better go all in for this major. Archie, the more hours Archie puts in, the worse results we get.
Yeah,
but then our worst result. As a matter of fact, Archie, you might have to go 10 past 2 for the next 2 weeks.
I think 11 at most.
Yeah, that's
That might be too much though.
That could be too much. It depends how. I mean, you don't want him to get to a point where he's not able to hit the ball anymore.
Yeah.
But if he gets too mechanical, that could be a problem.
Could fake the defense out if he's missing. Who knows?
He does that a lot, regardless. I'm joking. I don't know. I love these guys. I love everybody. Like, dude, I don't hate anybody in this community. Coach Cole, you owe me money.
Wait, who owes you money?
Coach Cole owes me money.
Okay.
Kinsey pisses me off on Twitter.
Kinsey's hilarious on Twitter. I love it.
Somebody compared Kinsey to Spook Luke. I said, shut the hell up. I started rolling. No, I can't do that. But yeah, all right, that's enough. Are we good to get off?
I think we're good.
I've had a great time. Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course. Dude, thanks for coming in and doing this. This was hilarious. Yeah, I don't know. We have the World Championship coming in a couple weeks. The day of recording is August 21st. Hopefully, we get this out very, very soon. World Championships in a couple of weeks. We just had a very interesting conversation on what needs to be done in North America, what has been done, and what needs to change. And a recap of everything from EWC to the World Championship. So hopefully some of these players can turn things around, and hopefully this can be the beginning of the World Championship of a new era for Rocket League. Something that it can spiral into success very fast and continue to leverage off of it. And it would help if China would allow Rocket League to be a real game, but unfortunately that's not a thing. So whatever. Either way, hopefully we get like Rocket League 2. I don't really care for that. Whatever. Let's just have a good World Championship. We'll see you for the World Championship. I'm sure we'll see you in the next episode of Melekiym Unfiltered. And I mean, hopefully we'll see everyone very, very soon. So I'll talk to you. We'll see you later. Very later.